that's easy. Turned yellow.
Yeah, so right there is close to about an inch off the ground. Got the tie rod turn, but so that should be close to being laid out there, but if you want to come look from this side, so I mean obviously you see where the firewall's trimmed, but that distance now, you know, you have, like the tire's gonna swing about 3/4 of an inch out this way when you go to turn, and if you move that booster, it's gonna basically give you double that. It'll be closer to, so right now, the way it's set up, aired up, about an inch off the ground, you're gonna hit the booster before you hit the fender.
Okay.
And if we move the booster, then it'll be a happy medium. We don't have to. Now this is in theory of, you know, essentially driving about an inch and a half off the ground. That's where you're gonna be at. Like you're not gonna be able to, you'll be able to change lanes, but you're not gonna be able to do like, you know, U-turns or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Which you're probably not gonna try to do anyway.
No.
But as far as like, for everything else, I mean, we basically have set it up to clear and it really, you know, wheels straight up and down should lay out on a 28 if need be, or if you would decide to go that route.
Yeah.
In my head, all this is just going to try to give you a little bit more clearance when, you know, driving off the ground at you know, very minimal off the ground.
Very minimal off the ground. And how much more did you say we're gonna be an extra?
So I think it's going to be $700, but I think we're going to have close to, because we got to cut. We got to remove the booster. We got to cut the firewall.
Okay.
And section it and move it over.
No, I mean, I'm betting how much like extra turning distance we're gonna get.
You're gonna double, almost double what you'll have now.
Sure, turning wise.
Yeah.
Cause I remember Mike showed me the other side, and that motherfucker was almost touching the fender. This side, if you turn, how close will we be turning the fender on this wheel?
Right now, if we leave it where it's at, you're gonna be, you're about an inch and a quarter from hitting that fender.
Inch and a quarter hitting that fender.
Yeah.
And then this fender, do you know?
At that ride height, I don't know that he's checked that to see. I mean, it would be about the same, an inch and a quarter. So when you were talking, I mean, if he showed you here how much turning radius you had there, that's essentially what you'd have matched on both sides. If we move the booster, did something with the booster. They have an option for smaller boosters. We can check into that, but I don't know what your plans are to do brakes later down the road, or you know. I mean, there's a vacuum pump. There's plenty of brake on the truck to stop it. They do sell smaller boosters. I think that's like an 11. We could go to a 10, which might help. You know, I don't know. I can look into options. I don't know how big of a, you know, you didn't come to me and said, hey, listen, I want to turn lock to lock laid out. I want to do this or that. I just, as we're going through this, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I talk about the 90%, 10%.
Yeah, because I am interested, like, later down the road, putting some brakes like the black truck has. So I do.
You're probably going to need it. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Between the wheels and tires, and if you decide to do the Pro Charger and have that, you know, you're going to add almost 200 horsepower, you know, you're going to be taxing the factory stuff by all means.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I don't want to switch this booster out. And moving it, what, you're going to move it more this way or more up?
We would move it to the motor and then up. So it would, yeah. It'd be about a ½ inch in and about a quarter up, which should give us about that 3/4 inch more at the wheel.
It won't affect, you know, the brakes or anything like that. The engine, close to the engine will get hot, nothing like that.
No, all that, I took all that into consideration. All it's gonna do is in the inside, it's gonna bring that ratio, the brake pedal and the gas a little bit closer together, but not much. not like enough where you're gonna be like, you know, one's not on top of each other. There's probably that much room between them now. We take about, I don't know, probably half inch or something over that distance.
Half inch of that distance.
That's how much it will go now.
With the brake booster.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty.
Okay, I see.
So the bad thing, I mean, also you gotta remember, there's not a stop to put in at this height.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be something you get used to, like when you're looking at the wheel, like, hey, I can turn this much. Like, yeah. You know, because there's no way to put a stop in here and then have a steering stop
Up there.
all the way up as well.
Yeah, because that's what I was imagining. You know, like, oh shit, maybe I can turn it halfway or quarter way.
It's gonna be the more you drive it, the more comfortable you're gonna get with it and realize that.
Yeah.
I mean, as weird as that sounds, but that's the reality of it.
Yeah, because that's what I was that's what I was thinking about a while ago. Like, shit, how will I know is it gonna stop me before I hit the fender or some shit? But
No, it's just gonna be you getting, you know, like, I mean, almost a handful of times, right? Is literally getting out of the truck to look at it.
To look at, yeah, fuck yeah.
And the other thing is, the question is how often, and this is, I mean, you would know better than I would, how often are you driving an inch and a half off the ground?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the only time it becomes super effective. I mean, if you think, you know, if you're going to be skating at 2 inches off the ground, I mean, something like that, it's not going to matter. Not nearly as much. That's not going to matter. You know what I'm saying? But because as the more that wheel goes up, you gain that much more clearance from the booster.
So it would be like, you know, the more benefit of if I do that, will I get more, just more turning radius?
You'll get more turning radius up at about an inch and a half off the ground. 2 inches or anything like that, it's not going to make much of a difference because compared to where the wheel's at, compared to the body, there'd be enough clearance there.
There'd be enough clearance. Yeah, because I know I won't be able to make full turns, you know, with the fenders, you know.
Right.
So say if I don't move the brake booster, I would still be able to switch lanes a little bit,
Yep.
you know, do all that.
Yep. And that about an inch and a half off the ground for sure. Yeah, you'd definitely be able, like, you know, whether it was, you know, so the smoothest road I can think of is Woodward. There's a section of Woodward and Birmingham and stuff that's brand new asphalt. You'd be able to easily switch lanes up through there, all that, even going down Woodward anyway. You'd be able to switch lanes. You're not going to be able to go, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to be you know, but you'll be able to, yep. And it's not going to be, I mean, you're still going to have a turning radius. It's not that you're not going to have any.
Because how much, I don't know if you have to measure tape, but how much, you know, if we do move the booster, how much, you know, is it like finger, like, you know?
It's about 3/4 of an inch.
3/4 of an inch? So like what, about that
Yep.
much?
And you got to remember that, and from there, you're bringing it closer, the tire to the fender at that point, just like this side would be like your limiting factor. You know, there's just no way to take that much out of physical real estate out of that side like we did this side because of the booster. So I mean, as you can see now, there's a decent gap between the two.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna move over about a half inch.
Half an inch?
Yeah, it's not like it's gonna move over.
So like right about, like right here?
Yep. Like I said, it's not like the brake pedal is going to be stacked on top of the gas pedal.
Yeah.
There's still be a difference when your foot moves from one to the other. It's just going to be, you know, that's going to be a little bit closer.
Motherfucker looks nice as shit.
So I'll send you the spy photos when it gets on the ground, and I know you're anxious about that.
I'm like, fuck.
I can't wait to see.
Huh?
I can't wait to see.
Like sends me pictures here and there. I'm like, fuck. Fucking like.
So he does.
Yeah. And did you get a price on the tune yet, or anything like that, for me and my dad, or just me? And my
Yeah.
dad?
So I think yours is going to be 600. That's going to include trans tune, motor tune, and deleting the stuff we need. Your dad's is going to be 400, which will recal for the gears. It does not include trans tune. The trans ECU has to be sent out on that if it decide to do it. So, but I'm going to be honest with you. What you're going to want to consider is a ring and pinion. So differential front and rear. So they got to match because it's 4-wheel drive.
Okay.
But when you go to that large of a tire, no matter how aggressive we tune it, it's still not going to give that pickup and go it has now because the overall tire diameter is such a, you know, killing the ratio. So something to consider, which we can also adjust in the tune side of things for gear ratio and tire size. is the company's called DTS. They're off Grossback. I send all my business there. They handle all that stuff. And talk to Rob. I can forward you his information or whatever there, and just say, hey, listen, the guys at the Hot Rod Shop told me to contact you about getting a ring and pinion done in my my F-150, and just say, hey, listen, we're doing a 35-inch tall tire, whatever it is, and say, hey, I'm trying to get that type of performance back. Because that's going to be, even towing wise, that's going to be one of your biggest complaints. You should be like, dude, this thing's a dog now. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Even there's only so much we can do in the tune. Nothing will make up for that gear ratio. So I know that what's on there should be like a 29-inch, maybe a 30-inch tall, but to go into 35 is pretty decent, overall, plus the weight. So he'll tell you like, hey, listen, we need to go 456s, 488s, 410s. They have that ratio and know where they want to be. And he'll tell you, hey, listen, you want it more aggressive than what it is now or less aggressive, and he can set you up gear ratio wise that'll still do all that. I know you do plan on doing a little bit of towing and that type of thing with it, but it sounds like that's a small part of the overall what you're going to use the truck for. So just keep that in mind when he asks you those questions of what type of gear ratio to do. But I'd rather see, we're gonna have to flash it either way to calibrate for both, but it's something you might want to consider. You can drive it like it is, we can flash it there, blah blah blah, but I really feel like that's what you're gonna lean towards long term, is swapping those gear ratios out. It was one of the things, we lift a handful of trucks, and I feel like even some of the Jeep stuff they do, when you do the bigger tires, it just draws everything down so much.
What would you say we're going to tune again? The engine, the transmission?
The engine and transmission. So we go through all the tables, adjust everything, take out the speed limiter, a bunch of stuff on the traction side of things, adjust for the gear ratio, tire size on this one. Basically, like we do any of the, one of the full tune. We go through 300 and something tables to tune it.
Yeah, you're tuning like the differential, transmission, engine, take all the codes out, so that way it's not, nothing's fucking limiting it, so I can just fucking dog it or fucking burn out and they'll respond.
We don't use, your truck might be close to this truck and that truck. We don't use any of those trucks and put them in yours. We tune per your truck. So it's time-wise, we spend 3 to 4 hours in each one, plus the credits, plus the drive time. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's stuff added into that, and some people are like, because you can buy the handhelds. There's a handful of ways to do it. I guarantee you, I would put all the money up against the world that our tune compared to a handheld, there's no comparison.
Hell no. All right, cool. Sounds good. Yeah, we'll do the tune for sure. Alignment? How much would the alignment be? Or is that until like the end?
We'll take care of it. And that was what Mike and I were talking about. So when we do put it on, get the bed cut and all that, I don't know if we're going to try to get it on this week, but we got to remove the fenders to do alignment because the ride height isn't going to be enough to untuck the tire. So the handful of times that you aired it up enough to untuck the tire is not nearly as many as you're going to be driving around town on. So we'll get some measurements together of where you think it's going to be or where it's actually going to be, and then we can align it at that height.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll stop by whenever that time is so we can just adjust it because it has 5 settings, right? 1, 2, the middle.
Well, I'll set it where, I guess we could go over that or we can see where clearance is. But until we get it on the ground and figure out where that measurement is, whether that's an inch off the ground, 5 inches off the ground or whatever, we need to know those measurements because that's where it's going to be at. It's not, if you go, let's say ride height's at 3 inches and you're driving around at 2 or 4, it's not going to make a big difference in alignment.
No.
So you have a little bit of play there, but we'll align it essentially where I think is going to be the best situation for it, cool. And then go from there.
Cool, yeah, just let me know so I can see it, because I think basically where would the front tire be, ride height? Would it be right by the fender or would I be tucking the fender?
Well, that's what we're going to find out this weekend. Okay. We're going to figure out where we'll actually get those measurements because we'll be able to compare off the ground, aired up to on the ground, tire, rim, the whole nine. No more tape measure, all that stuff. So we'll be able to literally take a tape measure and say, hey, this is 2 inches off the ground. Where does that put us? So this is 3 inches off the ground. Where does that put us? Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I don't, until we get it on the ground and all that, I don't go through any of the, I worry about it, but not enough, what preset's going to be what. We'll just, that rolls with the bunches.
Cool, yeah, because I think my, the most, what is it, like ride height would be where it is the lowest possible, but where I can do 4 turns possible, that would be maybe my ride height idea. So just in case, like I'm cruising somewhere, I don't know, hit the button, it goes to that setting where I can fully turn in case I need to dodge a pothole or something,
Well, you got to remember, so there's, on that controller, there's the very top button, which we normally set up, is like a manual mode. So you hold that button and it opens up all 4 valves and it'll essentially air the truck up all, so instead of having, so when you do a preset, it kind of, you got to double tap it. So you tap it once to go to light up that preset, and then you tap it again. Leaving the top one in a manual mode allows you to push that and essentially just air up the whole truck. And to me, that's more effective than just hitting a preset to air up the front or whatever. Because that way, the whole truck, you're gonna have to, when you're done doing whatever you're gonna do, it's gonna have to go to a preset to settle it, right?
Yeah.
So if you just air it all up, you hit the air it up all button, you can feel the whole truck raise or the whole vehicle raise. And you'll be like, cool, I got enough room.
Okay. Cool,
So
cool.
we do a lot of cars. I leave that top one for that manual, just for that sake, because it just makes it easier. If you're going to speed bump, or you're coming up to the driveway, and you're like, I need the turn-in radius, instead of hitting a preset and wait, because it takes a couple seconds for preset-wise. But if you hit that manual up, it opens up all 4 valves, the air goes in, and the whole vehicle will lift up.
All right, cool.
That's usually a little bit better.
All right, yeah. Yep.
You can change it if you want. But.
Yeah. No, yeah, just show me so I can play around with it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah. I like that. Do you have a paper too for my dad at one, so you can just have it in his records?
Yeah. I have the I wrote up the quote. I think we put it on a bill, but I didn't put a name or anything on it yet. So
okay, yeah.
And that stuff should be here, and I'm hoping middle end of next week. So shipping sucks.
Yeah, bro, the fucking wheels are on back order with my dad's, so I do not even know when it will be here.
Well, we probably should align that all together, right?
We
you don't want to ride around way high on some stars.
Yeah.
I mean, you can.
Yeah. Okay. Don't skip leg day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we didn't expect that, so I think I might have to sit here for a minute, collect dust until we get the fucking
That's fine.
names.
We'll make it happen. You know that.